How's it going, everyone? Sethphir here, and today we are back with another Tower of Fantasy video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the website and checking out some of the characters available on the standard banner. These are going to be the baseline characters that you're going to be able to get within the game, and a lot of them are very, very strong. We're going to see their types. I'll talk a little bit about their skills and how they do in PvE as well as PvP, and we also get to see some of the voice lines from the voice actors and actresses, so that'll be a nice little treat. So let's go ahead and dive in with the first character on the screen, which is Meryl. Meryl, the Rosy Edge. This is a two-handed sword or claymore weapon type character. She is ice element and she is in the tank category. There is a tank, healer, and DPS system within the game, and if you have two of the same kind activated, you will trigger a bonus that will designate you as a tank or a DPS or a healer and give you appropriate bonuses as such. She is a interesting character. Her first activatable skill will allow you to fling sword slashes very far into the distance, and her ultimate skill locks down an area around you in an icy arena or ring, but please be very careful because you can easily trap your teammates and cause them a lot of havoc, so that's definitely a dangerous one to look out for. We'll go ahead and check out her voice line, which is voiced by Kira Buckland, so we'll check that one out.
Will memories melt and fade like snow?
Okay, I like that one. A little soft-spoken and very mysterious, but this is definitely one of my favorite character models, I think, within the game. I definitely like her, and I think she is a very strong tanking option. She's one of the few tank weapons in the game that are actually quite powerful, and if you do plan to be a tank, you will probably be using Huma as well as Meryl, and that'll probably be your go-to combination. So next we'll go ahead and move down to the next character, as that is going to be Shiro. Shiro is the Chakram of the Seas. This is a DPS weapon. It is a physical damage DPS weapon. Her abilities generally tend to generate a lot of AoE ring damage that floats around the battlefield and does a lot of damage if enemies are staying within that zone that she creates. Her giant ultimate creates a massive zone that does a lot of DPS, so as soon as you see that, especially in PvP, you definitely want to get out of there, as it can be quite devastating. Her little voice acting line is from Kristen McGuire, so we'll go ahead and check that one out.
Don't approach me or talk to me unless you like the ocean.
Okay, so a little perky, I guess, energetic type person. So that's nice to see as well. This was the one character that I never managed to get in the beta for some reason. I got every single character and multiple copies of everything else. I just couldn't draw this particular one. So I'll be interested to dive into it a little bit further when I do eventually get access to the character. But she's definitely very strong in PvE and a decent option for PvP as well. And I think I forgot to rate Meryl in terms of PvE and PvP, so I'll go ahead and do that. As far as PvE goes, she is decent and maybe one of your few options for a tank weapon. PvP, she is very, very powerful because you get access to shields, and when you lock somebody down in that ice ring, it will disable their ability to dodge or get away, so she's definitely quite strong. Next, we'll go ahead and jump into Zero with the Negating Cube. This is a healer category under fire. This guy tends to generate a lot of shields. He makes shields that also heal you when you deal damage. So he has a lot of a nice utility built into his kit. His ultimate will create a massive shield and deal damage around you, as well as healing you constantly over time when you deal DPS to other characters. So this one is a very, very strong healer to have. He is one of the two best. There is one healer that is slightly better than him, but he is very powerful. In PvE, he is very decent. He is strong, but in PvP, he is one of the strongest characters in the game because of his ability to make shields and regenerate healing. It's very, very hard to deal with a user that has Zero on their roster as one of their three characters. The voice actor is not listed, but we'll go ahead and take a look at the line here.
Why are you asking me such trivial things? Don't you have a brain of your own?
Okay, so a little bit of a snarky type guy here, so I definitely like it. I think his character model is pretty cool aesthetically as well. So we'll go ahead and jump into the next one. And this is probably the one that a lot of people are going to be going after. This is King, the Scythe of the Crow, aka the guy that looks like Diluc. He is a fire DPS character, and this is probably one of the better characters in the game for PvE. For PvE, he is very powerful. He has a single target damage move that does, or more of an AoE damage slash, that has a bit of a long cooldown, but the strength really comes in his ultimate, which allows him to make scythes that rotate around the field that keep dealing damage, and a lot of his special abilities revolve around breaking enemy shields, and when you do break their shields, you're going to deal constant fire damage to them, as well as give yourself a massive boost to breaking shields, so this is probably the best shield breaking character in the game. In terms of PvE, he is probably the single best character that we are going to get at the start of the game. In terms of PvP, he is okay, maybe not the best, so there probably are some other better options for PvP. His voice line is by Johnny Young, so we'll go ahead and check that out.
My name? Didn't you do your homework before you hired me? You really don't know? Well, I guess you don't need to, as long as you pay me on time.
Okay, so a bit dark and mysterious, I suppose. And I do apologize if it's hard to hear over the music a little bit. Maybe I should disable that when I go to play the voice line. But yeah, he's got a interesting little look to him. But this is definitely one of the characters I'm going to be mainly focusing on targeting because he will allow me to climb the PvE ladders quite far. So that's definitely something to keep an eye out for. Next, we have one of my personal favorites. This is Tsubasa, the Icewind Arrow. It is a bow-style weapon. You can have a third-person aiming view, and headshots do count in this game. This one is a ice bow. It is a DPS weapon and is very powerful. The activatable skill allows you to fire 3 charged shots, which deal a ton of damage, especially if you hit all 3 on the same target. And her ultimate is very, very strong, raining down continuous ice damage on an area, as well as increasing the amount of damage you deal. She has a lot of other side passives that increase your damage overall that is persistent, so when you swap to another character, you're still going to get that bonus of increased damage and attack speed. So this is probably one of the best supporting characters in the game for PvE, and is very strong in PvP as well, but only in the hands of a skilled player, as you will need to aim your shots and hit the target for maximum efficiency. The voice actress is Amber Lee Connor, so let's go ahead and check out her line, and this time I'll disable the music. We'll see how that goes.
I don't really care about the Cataclysm, Omnium, or whatever. I do what I want and go where I want to go.
Okay, so I like that one. It's very calm and just kind of a, headstrong character who's gonna do what she wants to do, as stated. So I definitely like her, but aesthetically she's pretty interesting. But I think her main draw is gonna come from how powerful of a supporting character she is and how much DPS she can start to ramp up for your other characters. So that's gonna be something very nice to go for. Next, we're going to go into the other character here. This is Cocoriter, the Absolute Zero. This is a frost healing weapon. This weapon is incredibly powerful in both PvE and PvP. In PvE, it will allow you to create a healing aura that follows your character and will heal other party members that are inside. And the ultimate will create a healing zone on the ground, which will increase the healing by a lot. And there are some passives that also create healing effects. This weapon also comes with a very strong crowd control set. Its combo that it has allows you to lift targets into the air and freeze them. So it's got 2 forms of CC, both a lift up or a knock up and a solid freeze. So this is one of the deadliest weapons in PvP that you can possibly imagine. And if you are somebody who is caught without stamina, without your dodge, you will be infinitely stun locked by this weapon. You can break out of the stun lock by timing your dodge at the correct moment when she does the lift up attack, but it is a very, very strong weapon, as well as providing healing in PvP, which is quite powerful. In PvE, this is the best supporting weapon in the game. There is nothing better. It will give you a strong boost to healing for your entire party and keep them topped up at all times, as well as providing them with like attack bonuses from the Matrix and different things later on. So this is definitely a character to keep your eye out for, especially if you plan to play healer, but also if you just want to have a side healer in case your group needs it, so that you can go ahead and continue and do a dungeon. We'll go ahead and play the voice line from the actress here, and that's going to be Lexi Fontaine. We'll go ahead and see how that goes.
Still not good enough. I need more training. I wish to help and heal more people.
Okay, so looks like a very like nice and kind-mannered character, so that's always good to see. I do like her art aesthetically. She kind of reminds me of Tsubasa from Dot Hack a little bit. I don't know if you guys get those vibes. Comment down below what you think some of these characters look like or remind you of, but some of them definitely have some really cool appearances. So we'll go ahead and jump into the next character now. That is going to be Crow the Thunderblades. This is a DPS weapon, dual daggers. There's a lot of acrobatics with this weapon. Your first move will let you dash forward and deal a lot of damage, and the ultimate will create some sort of like spinning blades that rotate around you, and the more damage you deal, it will proc extra damage. So this can be a very, very high DPS weapon in PvE. And PvP, I have never seen anybody make good use of this. I think the skill ceiling is way too high. It also has a lot of things that trigger off of attacking a target from behind to get bonus damage, which in PvP can be very, very hard to do. A lot of times you're just hoping to connect for a combo, and you don't really care if it's from behind or from the front. You just want to start, juggling them, start getting that stun lock going. So PvP, not so hot, but PvE, it can be one of the most powerful weapons if you build around it. It will build and synergize around lightning weapons. It will build and synergize around critting from behind. So you're going to need to have a high skill cap in order to make this weapon successful. The voice actor or actress is Casey this is going to be hard, Mangilo? So if anybody knows how to pronounce that, put it down in the description down below for me. But we'll go ahead and check that one out here.
Those who are optimistic and smile often tend to be more successful.
Interesting. Okay, so it's like your basic adventurer voice, like positive kid, type deal. That's definitely a cool one. And I am a big fan of the lightning weapons in these games. I do like a lot of them. This was one I did obtain. I just never got a high copy of it, and he's one of those characters where if you don't have a high star copy of this character, he's not going to be that great for you. And now we will go into the final standard banner character, Samir. This was my go-to on the closed beta, the betas, and all that stuff. This is a double pistol electric character. This character is very flashy. It has a lot of mobility. You can lock targets up in the air and rain gunfire down on them from below. You can also do a lot of cool tricks and maneuvers. She has a general targeting system as well as a third-person aiming system, so that you can kind of snipe people from far away if that's something you want to do. Her cooldown skill shoots an electric field that deals quite a bit of damage, and her ultimate will do a even bigger field than that, will basically really lock down somebody. She has a lot of like mini stuns, but the big thing about her is that she scales a lot on attack, power, crit, and cooldown. And once you get a lot of copies of this character, it is probably the strongest DPS character in the game to start with. As we see later characters from when the banners cycle through, there will probably be better, but at the very start of the game, she's probably the best DPS character. But do keep in mind that you will need a shield character to break the shield so that a DPS character can be effective on monsters, and then healing is also necessary too, so there's going to be a lot of mix of players. This is definitely one of the best, PvE damage character alongside of King. So you're going to want to go ahead and get this one for PvE combat. For PvP, it is a decent character. However, there are some better PvP weapons. This has a really high skill cap in PvP because you will have to actively be aggressive and chase along with predict where your opponent is going to go to keep locking them up in a combo. So if you're a very, very skilled player from like Super Smash Brothers or something like that, this could be something that could shine in your hands. Next, we'll go ahead and check out the line for the character, and this is voiced by Brittany Cox, so we'll go ahead and check that one out here.
I'm great at both making and solving problems.
Okay, that's an interesting quote, but from the lore from her character in game, yeah, she's definitely a bit of a wild one. She's kind of that like sparky, adventurous, like crazy person that'll do like pretty much anything dangerous, but she's definitely really fun. I enjoyed her a lot. Also, a lot of these characters have special passives that you can unlock, namely Tsubasa and Samir's being very powerful, so those are going to be the two that you may want to aim at in the future. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. Make sure to comment down below and tell me what you think about Tower Fantasy's characters. Do they look like anything you've seen before? Are you interested in this? Go ahead and let me know down below. Make sure to subscribe, like, and hit the bell, and we will catch you in the next video.